Hej allesammans, Richard Metalfan här ger er en album release from 2020. So switching to English again, bringing you guys a brand new 2020 album review. As you could tell, I introduced myself in Norwegian because today we're going to be talking about a Norwegian band, and this is a new album. And today, as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into the new album from the band Enslaved, entitled Utscarter, or I probably butchered that, which was released today through Nuclear Blast Records. Now, some people probably may or may not heard of Enslaved. They're a black metal band hailing all the way from Norway, probably Bergen, and they've been around since 1991. And Enslaved for me are a very kind of different compared to like all the other black metal bands. While probably their earlier stuff were mainly black metal, I feel like probably since like the early 2000s they've kind of like steered away from that. Well, they also have like people say Viking metal as part of their sound, but I don't really consider them Viking metal. I don't think that's a genre, but they've added like different elements, even like progressive metal, and also incorporating clean vocals, which isn't usually heard from in like a band like Enslaved, and they pretty much pull it off great. And of course, this album is the band's, I forget how many, 15th album, if I'm not mistaken, following up to their previous album, which came out in 2017 called E. And like I said, Enslaved can do no wrong. Like they're definitely a band that with every album they always take a different approach, and they pretty much stand out a lot. Just one thing to note about is like the vocal work, and just the vocal work in general in this album is great. Grutil Kilson, he does like a lot of the harsher vocals, and especially cleaner vocals from Hakon Viln, their keyboard player, and Ivar Sandoy, their drummer. Like I feel like the cleans really just add a lot of depth and like emotion to the music as well. The guitar work from Ivar Bjornson and of Isdal, or his name is known as Icedale. Just their guitar playing and just the riffs is pretty tight. Grutel's bass is pretty audible, and just the keyboards from Hakon. If I probably butchered people's names, if I do apologize. Just the keyboards just really add a lot of depth to the music, and the drumming is pretty tight. It's just pretty solid. It definitely holds a bit of a backbone to the songs. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the song Fire in the Dark, which has a little bit of clean passages. And I feel like I can compare Enslaved to another band like Opeth, which they were once in death metal, but they've pretty much added a lot more progressiveness and a lot more cleaner parts in there as well. And I don't know, it's a great song. It has a lot of great atmosphere. Fear is a lot of like progressiveness, and it's just a really hard song. Great way to start off this album. And then we move on to the next song on the album, which is called Utgard. This song has like a little like initial pushes like complex and sort of like dense compositions, and there's like a little like initial black metal flashes on here, but it's pretty much broad in here, and it's just great song. Moving on to the next song in the album, which is called Sequence, which I feel like this song has a lot more of an anthemic, sort of like epic quality to the song. It just has a lot of like technicality and just calm, almost like relaxing atmospheric parts in there, and I just really love how the two just go really hand in hand. Then we move on to Homebound, which I believe is one of the singles from Utgard, and I don't know. It pretty much combines like what we all know from Enslaved. I feel like it's pretty typical. The second half has like great instrumentation set with like great clean vocals, and it just works all well for the song. Then we move on to the title track of the album called Utscarter, which is like a short little interlude, which kind of like sets up for the next song called Urjoten, which kind of like features like a little kind of like electronic-y part and sort of like a bass driven throughout, and it has like a great guitar rhythm that just repeats throughout, and it has some great like vocals from Grutle before returning into like I don't know, just like before it started, it's just a great effect. Flight of Thought and Memory, which this song just takes no prisoners. It just fucking wrecks. It just marks a return to like the black metal aesthetics from like the song Utgard. I keep fucking up the names of these song titles, so please excuse me if I me if I mispronounce anything. But anyway, Flight of Thought of Misery, I feel like has a lot of like tremolo pick sections which are used effectively, and it also like goes into like a progressive, almost kind of like space rocky, especially like near the closing of the song. Moving on to Storms of Utgard, which pretty much rages between like calm and waxes and just goes back and forth between like fierce black metal and just challenging, just epic progressive metal before fading out altogether. And it would have worked as pretty much was a longer track, but I feel like it makes it well for the last song on the album, which is called Distant Seasons, which in my opinion is a perfect way to wrap this album out. It's sort of like completing sort of like proceedings in an epic matter to just let Enslaved just stretch out what they can do to like a calmer side. Yeah, it's just a great thing to just capping the whole thing off. Now overall, Utscarter by Enslaved, another great album, definitely a great step in their whole evolution of their discography. To really get this on my score, I'm going to give Utgard by Enslaved a solid 9 out of 10. So yep, that's my review of the new Enslaved album. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next review. And as always, keep it metal.